Guys, I wanted to, I was thinking like, what am I going to share with you guys today? And I was doing a little bit of a clear out of my office space, and I came upon like notebook of notes from different webinars that I've attended. And even earlier, I was trying to find one of the groups that I'm in to share it with my client from earlier. And I looked at all the groups that I'm on Facebook, and I was like, I'm in a lot of groups. And I know the reason I joined those groups was to, watch a certain live or join a certain free challenge or do something like that. And I've learned a little bit from each of those people and each of those challenges and each of the lives and the webinars and all of that stuff. But I've taken so many notes. And as I was going through them, I was like, that's the same. Hey, Nikki. That's the same thing. That's the same thing. Like, I found one notebook that had like four different webinars I'd attended by Gabby Bernstein, and all of them had pretty much the same notes in them. And I dated all of them, and they were like, over the course of a year. So I spent a year watching webinars by Gabby Bernstein and thinking, how much of that did I actually implement? And then I found ones by Nick Pigeon, who's a coach that I followed for a couple years. And I actually paid for one of her money mindset courses and watched so many webinars and attended like a live thing and like all this stuff with her. I found all these notes and I was reading through and I'm like, oh, when I saw her live at that thing and I wrote this note, I then paid for that program like 2 years later where she said the same thing. And I'm thinking, why am I hearing the same thing repeatedly, but I'm not incorporating it? What's the word? I'm not like integrating it, that's the word, into my life. And so that's the thing I really wanted to say to you today is, and I do think timing plays a very big role with this. I think when the time is right, you'll put something into practice. But my challenge to you is, if you're learning something which is really inspiring or which makes you want to go and do something, go and do it. Or put into practice just like one of the things that you take all these notes about, if you're anything like me. Put into practice at least one of the things so that you're actually like implementing it. Does that make sense? So I'll never forget, a turning point for me was actually a webinar attended by Nick Pigeon, and she was talking about coaching princesses versus coaching queens. Those are the terms she gave it. And a coaching princess was the coach that does all the webinars and makes all of the notes, but doesn't actually implement any of the stuff that she's learning. Whereas a coaching queen was someone that puts it into practice consistently, follows the process, and has great success. And I remember watching that and thinking, oh my God, I'm a coaching princess. All I do is attend webinars and I don't put any of the stuff into practice. And all of it was about business strategy, and marketing and that kind of thing. So it's a little bit different with you guys, unless that's where you're at. But when I speak to you about the personal development stuff, again, there's so many different things that I've attended where I haven't put that stuff into practice, or I hadn't. Thanks, Kirsty. Just do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Action, action, action. Absolutely. Love you quoting the 5-second rule there by Mel Robbins. Totally. Like, take the action. So that's the whole thing, is like nothing really big is going to change until you implement the stuff that you're learning. So yes, assimilate information, learn, grow, expand your mind, do all of that stuff and take action. Because if you don't take action, it doesn't mean very much. Like you can't see the tangible results in your life. And that might sound a little bit harsh, but honestly, like you have to be an action taker. And I have struggled with that in my life. So I know that it's not easy, and I'm not like discounting that or taking it for granted. I know it's not easy. I did a post today about procrastination. So go check that out on my business page on my Instagram. For some tips on how to kind of move past procrastination. And in fact, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 was one of them. So do what you can to implement the stuff that you're learning. There's this cool quote by Yogi Bhajan, and he says, when the time is on, you start and the pressure will be off. Because so often we're so busy doing like this self-help person and that self-help person and reading this book, and we're so inspired, and it's like, wow, that's amazing, but you don't do anything with it. And so the pressure builds and the pressure builds, and not that much changes in your life. And you realize, from one year to the next that you're in the same situation, or at least a very similar one. So if you don't want that to happen, like for example, right now on this day, where are we today? May 16th. On the 16th of May, where are you at, and where do you want to be in a month's time? So you could close your eyes and you could imagine, like I've spoken before about life A and life B. So if you close your eyes now and imagine continuing to spend your days the way you've been spending them the last few weeks, if you had to continue doing it, what's life going to look like in 1 month's time on the 16th of June? Or what if you had to put into practice one of the things that you've been learning about in your self-exploration, your self-development, all the different webinars, whether it's me talking about stuff or somebody else talking about whatever they're talking about, like all the stuff that you've been taking in the last few weeks. If you had to put into practice one thing, what would your life look like in a month's time? What would change? Because I'll tell you what, month to month, stuff can change. You'd be amazed, like literally your entire life can change in 1 month. So if you're implementing one thing, it might be a small change, and that's awesome. It might be a huge change, and that's awesome too. So challenge yourself to put something into practice and let me know in the comments what it's going to be. It could be a change to your daily routine, and maybe we call it your morning ritual, because that sounds a little bit more sacred than morning routine. So what could you add to your morning ritual? You know, could it be joining me for the morning meditations, or perhaps doing your own meditation? Could it be doing sun salutations every morning on your yoga mat? You know, maybe going for a walk. Might it be, I don't know, having a green smoothie every day? Like, it can be directly related to your emotional well-being and regulation. It could also be about your physical health. But whatever it is, put it into practice. Make yourself a promise today that every day for the next month you're going to do that thing. And try not to make it too big, otherwise it could feel a little bit scary. But commit to one thing, one small daily promise, and keep it. And see where you are in a month's time. So whatever it is, think about all the stuff that you've been watching and taking in, and choose one thing. Don't end up with notebook after notebook of notes from these amazingly inspiring things that you watched that you didn't put into practice. Because honestly, I kick myself, and I know like divine timing also plays a huge role. So sometimes you're not ready, and that's okay too. Sometimes you need to assimilate more and more information until you're ready to actually do something with it, and that's okay. Challenge yourself though to at least try. Like for example, going for a run one day is not going, you know, to change the shape of your body or your fitness levels. But going for a run every day for a month will have a drastic impact on your health. So those small incremental steps change the bigger picture. That's my challenge to you today. So let me know, what is one thing that you're going to commit to doing for the next month, and I want to know what it is. Cool. Hope that was helpful. Hope it made sense. Hope you can accept the challenge if you're ready to do so. And if you're not, that's fine too. Divine timing. When you're ready, you will do it. But for those of you that are, come. Let's change our lives. Let's put stuff into practice. Let's take action. Okay? Cool. Sending you love. Bye.